BPod Studios.
Sports Hub.
Now it's time for
Zolak and Bertrand.
Brought to you by
BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks, on the Sports Hub.
Welcome into Zolak and Bertrand on this Thursday. It is the 1st of February. We're presented by BetMGM.
Oh, wow.
The king of sportsbooks.
I didn't realize that.
What's up?
1st of February.
Sure is.
Ooh, we're rolling. Through months. January's gone. Shoot, it'll be March before we know it.
Huh. Yeah, that's how it works.
Wow.
Yeah, it goes from January,
That just hit me,
then
man.
it's February, and when February starts,
It felt like January's just dragging, and then wham, hey, it's February.
the next month you can count on,
What are you
typically
laughing
Tim McKone, is March.
Yes.
That's typically, I mean, in my lifetime.
Watch out for it.
That's
Yeah.
how it's gone.
It's coming.
You know, and they say February, one of those short months. That is what they say about it.
You spray on hair today?
No.
It looks
we got a
thicker.
situation over here, though.
What's
I'm
going
trying to eat healthy. Brought a salad, some salad dressing just all over the headphones.
Is that what smells like vinegar?
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great.
That's
We
usually
got
a Zoe thing.
We'll clean it
So
up.
now you're what, going to stick those in your ear
That's
full
what I'm
of
saying.
vinegar?
Yeah, this is not great. Not great.
Oh, you're going to smell
Tough
later.
Oh, that's not a good look, McKone. Not at all.
You got it on your pants?
Why is there always something with
not
you?
yet.
It is always something with you. You got your Worcester sweatshirt on.
Yeah.
Polar Park.
Yeah.
You're a fan of Polar Park.
I love Polar Park.
Great venue.
Yep.
Best baseball in Massachusetts.
I love the little caboose they have out there, the little diner.
Yep.
You got the Waffle House. You got all that stuff, the barbecue places. I love sitting out in the Adirondacks out there by the train station.
Yep. Great vibe.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Take the kids there.
Well, it's
They're
better,
waiting for you.
it's better than trying to go to Fenway.
I wouldn't go to Fenway.
All you get there is a ballpark. You get a Fenway experience. You don't see a competitive team.
You jam your car.
You
and
go
get
to
your
Worcester,
car
you can
scratched.
maybe see a competitive team. They tell me all the kids down there are wonderful. They tell me they got a lot in that pipeline. Coming up through the pipeline. Yeah, prospects. Woo! Woo socks.
I got to watch Bobby Dahlbeck take batting practice underneath. Milliken would have
And the thing
had
is,
to change his pants.
Oh, my God. He would have been hot and
Milliken,
bothered.
you would have had to bring 3 pairs of pants.
the
You
thing
would've
about Dahlbeck is at the major league level, not so great, but you drop him down to AAA,
Elite.
you got a player.
he looks like a big dude and like he could swing. I go,
Yeah.
holy crap, this guy looks good.
Yeah, I
He's
think
Barry Bonds.
I think they call
my
him
God.
a 4A type of guy. You know,
He was wilding people underneath there. Yeah.
sure was.
I don't know. You throw some glasses on him, throw him at shortstop. He's a different guy.
He's a different guy. All right. Well, it is February now, so that's happening. Truck Day is going to come up at the start of the week.
February
I don't know-
5th.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah,
And,
Dan Roach was tweeting about it. I think he'll be the only one there.
Are you guys flying back from Vegas for that and then flying back out?
No.
probably.
I would think so,
we're,
right?
We're making arrangements to sort that out.
Are we sending the Wallach head down again?
I don't know.
The morning zoo, are they going to send the Wallach head?
I don't know.
Probably. That'll be the only thing you see in the background. What was it? Was it last year when they were down there and they said three stations showed up for spring training?
Yeah. There's like one TV station and 2 writers.
Will it be worse this year?
It should be. They're not worthy of the money.
Well, Nessa will throw their crew down. Send their crew down.
Well, that's state-run media. I mean,
EI's
know.
going to have to go. Yeah. I mean, they'll have people down. I think Bradford and the guys will be down there.
okay.
But I'm like, Doc,
borderline
Shaughnessy.
state-
Will
state
Shaughnessy be
media.
at Twin Peaks?
They're like contractual.
Buck.
right?
Buck will probably be there for day one.
I can't believe they're still rolling out Truck Day as an
Oh,
event.
yeah, no.
would-
These idiots will just keep doing the things they do.
Yeah, just so tone deaf.
Yeah.
Like, it's over, guys.
Yeah, this wasn't where we were going to
They
start
play
today,
Sweet
but we're on
Caroline.
it, so we're just going to stick with this for a
They
moment.
play Sweet Caroline.
I think it's, worthy of bringing up since John Henry sealed his deal for $3 billion to be the lead of, what are they calling it? What's the consortium?
SSG.
SSG. What does that stand for?
Sports
Suck.
Strategic Group.
Oh, wow. They really spent a lot of time in the lab coming up with that
Workshop
name.
that, yeah.
Sports Strategic Group. Should have just called it Nerds. We're the Sports Strategic Group, and we have $3 billion that we counted. our bean counter said we could finance this and put it on our Amex. So, okay, the Nerd Group buys $3 billion worth of the new PGA for-profit tour. Good for you. Congratulations. The baseball team still sucks.
SSG, suck, guy.
SSG. And John Henry is labeled as the manager of this group, the top dog.
The leader.
Real alpha.
Yep.
John Henry. The alpha. Get him in there. Leader of the pack. He's the dog they all follow. He's just got that infectious, energetic personality that just has all these billionaires tripping over themselves to throw money at him. Oh, take my money, John. So they buy $3 billion worth of the PGA Tour, and they're still going to roll out an 18-wheeler to pack it with baseball equipment, and they want people to show up there next week at the park and watch it drive away. That's still a thing in 2024 in the month of February, which has an extra day this year, so just so you know.
Nice.
Just so when
leap year.
If you're counting the days
in
this year, you want to count the days in this month, you're going to have to tack one more on.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
SSG. Let's go to Polar Park instead. Please.
You know
the Orioles sold their team this week. Did you guys catch that?
Yes.
Yeah.
2 billionaires are buying it.
What did it tell you? Now we're on a baseball topic. This is completely
Let's do baseball. That's okay. That's fine.
Off the rundown of where we were going.
I like
to
it.
start
Call an
this
audible.
show.
It's called Sports Audible.
I don't know why. I just got an urge to talk about everything that's been going on over there. The Orioles sold their team. Peter Angelos and his son, I forget his son's name, Milliken, if you remember, help me.
They bought it in the early 90s for $173 million.
John Angelos.
John. So Peter and John Angelos are selling out. They're done. They've owned the team for a very long time, and they're getting out.
20 plus year investment is
31 years. They own the
31.
team.
31. Wow.
31 years. He was I think Peter Angelos was a lawyer in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sort of was from there, grew up there, and
Made a lot of money.
I know that Orioles fans that I know came to absolutely despise the guy. And now the team is actually decent, and he's selling out and getting rid of the team, which tells me something about where the sport's going. Could you see right now NFL owners getting out after 30 years right now?
No.
Like, do you see NFL owners willingly? I mean, think about the teams that have been sold. Dan Snyder, they forced him out.
Right.
Carolina, Richardson, they forced him out.
Right. No, they got their little club, and it's growing, and they're getting more and more greedy, and people just keep watching, and we're putting games on streaming services, and the Super Bowl is going to be the most watched TV event ever with the Taylor being there, all that stuff. No, nobody would get out right now. Nobody. You're going to make more and more money. Cap's going up, everything.
I don't know that baseball teams are going to continue to make more and more money. Their model of the last 2 decades is starting to fall apart. You have seen regional sports network after regional sports network crumble. Some of them just disappearing, falling off the map. Some teams last year were left without rights deals to put their games on television. Major League Baseball had to step in and help fill the gap by streaming games because they had nowhere to put them on TV. Is that a sustainable model in this sport?
No, it's broken.
No.
Are the national TV deals going to be there in the next go-round? They are there right now. They're making a ton of money right now for their deals with Fox and with ESPN. They're making that money still. Is it going to be there in the next negotiation?
Probably not, especially with ESPN, too, because ESPN's got their issues and their cuts.
Yeah.
They're going in a different
Yep.
direction.
Yep.
The whole landscape is changing. If you read into this stuff, too, all of these cable companies want events, big-time events, versus what used to be popular, which was quantity. We want as much inventory as we can possibly get.
We want a game on every night at every hour,
which
right?
is not the case anymore, and it's why college football has started to explode
Yeah.
here over the last few years, because every single week is an event. The college football playoff's going to expand. That's going to be huge as well. You look at the in-season tournament in the NBA. They're trying to turn that into an event versus just regular season
Correct.
games. And baseball is just kind of broken. To your point, too, that RSN money, the regional sports network money, that's going away. That stuff is broken. Amazon just bought Bally Sports, so that whole landscape is going to be shifting over the next few years. I think you're right. I think you kind of saw the high watermark when it comes to Major League Baseball and the revenue that they're getting from cable companies.
It's interesting because you're talking everything about in the future here and the way this thing is trending. I look at it in the short term, and like what should scare the hell out of you is 2 billionaires buy from this family That's a team that what they win, Milliken? 100 games last year?
100 games.
Imagine if these two nuts all of a sudden, like, hey, it's our new toy. We want to spend.
That's what it's
We want to be like the Mets. You just lost one of your good right-handed hitters that liked being here, that wanted to be here. You didn't sign him for 1 year for 13. You send him. He goes to Toronto in your division. And now in your division, 2 new billionaires just bought a team that is actually competitive. Imagine if they put money into it.
They haven't signed a multi-year deal since 2018. Mike Elias has been there since 2018, and they haven't given out a multi-year contract. So now for a team that was starving for a pitcher, and it was criminal last year when they left them with no starting pitching help, now they just got to spend, and there's 2 arms on the market.
What if they sign Montgomery?
It could be him. It could be Blake Snell. And I'll say when it comes to these teams, people felt what the Orioles sold for was low. They were surprised by that evaluation, and the Nationals over a year and a half ago said they were selling, and they hired that law firm. They haven't sold because they feel like they can't get their price right now.
Well, Milliken, isn't the Orioles right now what the Red Sox want to be in terms of the young players that have hit so far? And so if you have an ownership group that's willing to
Stop
re-sign
being a
those
liar,
guys,
McCone. You're lying.
I'm not
being liars.
It's just
if you
their
don't
payroll.
think they're trying, you're a liar.
Outside of the A's, they're the cheapest team in baseball.
So if you have an owner that's willing to spend and re-sign some of this young talent and bring in pitchers on top of that, in terms of the landscape of the AL East, not great if you're a Red Sox fan.
You could easily say the Red Sox are going to be 4th in payroll in that division moving forward, especially because, the Rays are going to be the Rays, but how are you going to compete with an Orioles team whose window is right now? They tanked for all those years for this moment. Now they have an owner who cares.
So David Rubenstein, who's buying the Orioles, had tried to buy the Nationals.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. He had tried to buy the Nationals.
So they're serious then.
And I wonder, I don't know all the details of how it came to be that he landed on buying the Orioles. He's from Baltimore. I think maybe he went after a team that he thought was for sale, and then they heard that he was going after it, and they said, hey, we could be for sale. What do you got?
Yeah.
And they took $1.725 billion to do it, which I thought was low. And when I saw the number, I'm like, wow, that feels like a low number. That doesn't feel like the appropriate value, but that's what it's become because I think they know the sport and its revenues may not be the same going forward. And so when Tom Warner, a week and a half ago, said that they're going to own the team for another 20 years. I hope he's lying now the same way he was lying when he said they were going full throttle. Yeah. He's a man who can't be trusted in his public comments. I hope those were fraudulent too. I hope they get out. And maybe they see the writing on the wall and they say, we can't grow and make money the way we have for the last 20 years on this thing. It's not going to be able to continue to fund our pet projects. So maybe we should get out and sell it to someone who's going to be more passionate about it and care more about owning a baseball team than owning a portfolio. Because if that's how they're going to run it, there's no point.
It's interesting because you've won 4 and you can't maximize the ballpark anymore. Like you can't get your money that
You're
way.
maxed out.
You can't sell suites. You can't do all that. If you had a new building, maybe you stay in it. But the creativity, I think, is past. Like you've done everything you can.
It's gone.
You
they
put
don't
seats
care.
up there. It's nice to go there. It is. It's cool. And that's what you're going to draw now. The people from outside the city. Oof.
So that was a baseball segment to start your day.
How about that?
Unplanned baseball segment.
That's what we do.
On Polar Park, Worcester, Truck Day, the sale of the Orioles, and the Red Sox needing to sell their team.
And McCone's headphones getting in salad dressing.
Yeah, that too.
Wow.
Let's get to the thing we were actually going to get to.
And what's that?
Which is the OC candidates list for the Patriots is down to a half dozen. Let's get to it coming up next. Stick around. It's Zolak and Bertrand from our Town Fair Tire studio.
Now,
Look at all this suits.
Zolak and Bertrand on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Andrew, you have something on the Patriots offensive coordinator situation?
Yeah, sure. Nick Caley, I reported earlier tonight, is the first finalist for the Patriots offensive coordinator.
What does that mean?
What it means is that he is closer to either getting an offer or having one already than any of the other candidates. Like, he came in for a second interview Sunday into Monday. Where things stand now, he is closer to getting that job than anyone, and he has gone back to Los Angeles. And that's where things stand.
Do you like it? Do you like Nick Caley as the OC of the Patriots?
I would say I've been underwhelmed overall by the search. I think part of this is everyone dealing with the reality of the Patriots franchise and going, you're not going to get the top guys. They're not coming here unless you pay them top dollar. Nick Caley was the obvious choice all along, and sometimes even through this whole search, you land in the place where you started. I think it would be fine.
Fine.
It's fine.
Perfect with fine.
I think it will be fine, he said.
Fine.
He said, period.
It's all right.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of listening to the sound of my tears. Every now and then I
We go from one depressing team to another. the New England Patriots in their search for a new offensive coordinator.
I don't like where this is heading.
That was Andrew Callahan. You haven't liked it from the jump,
or the just the way it. And I don't know anything. I don't talk to anybody. I do talk to people. But.
Yeah, you don't talk to anybody. Come on, let's save that.
So if you love him and he's the guy, this is like when we're talking about, okay, if you love the draft pick, you fall in love, you make the pick, you jump on it. Why do you let him leave the building? That tells you, well, we can't come to terms on money or something. Is he asking for too much? Do they not want to pay accordingly to what like former coordinators made here? And you had good coordinators in Billy O'Brien and Josh McDaniels being the last two guys. I worry because he's never called plays. And I think the offense is in such disarray that you need an experienced guy. And I know it's about, and I get afraid too when I hear Bedard say, just screw it then. Let Michael Winnow walk. Don't sign him if it's that bad. See, I think if I hear that, okay, we're coming to terms, we're giving Michael Winnow a contract extension, he's going to make $15 to $16 million a year, 17. I think that's a good sign, meaning we got a good player, we're keeping him, we know what we want to do, it gives you some vision. Right now it feels like they have no vision. But I'm not in the meetings, I don't know that. Who's running the meetings? Who's doing the interviews? There's a lot of guys that have gone through there and done the interview process. And I think part of the problem, when you get this McVay tree, all these guys are connected, right? Everybody's connected. And they got mouths, and they talk to people. Like, Bedard heard something when he was down there with Felger and Mass. Halfway through his 2 hours he was on, like, his tone changed. Because it felt like he got some information from someone. These guys talk to people. We're so used to 24 years here of, man, it's buttoned up, nobody talks.
No, everybody's talking.
It seems like everybody's yapping.
Everybody's talking now.
And you're getting to a point now, Senior Bowl week's almost over. Super Bowl week's next week. We're going to be live from Vegas starting on Monday. We come back Friday, Super Bowl. Boom, then you're into next year. Do you know when the date is for declaring whether or not you're going to franchise somebody? March 5th. March 5th's right around the corner. This is why I said, February 1st, because now I get churning. Like, you start getting into the next year of football. The football year resets right after that Super Bowl. You're off and running. You're to the combine.
They're down at the Senior Bowl, right?
Yeah. They're interviewing.
And they're looking and interviewing at offensive players, and they don't even know what their offense is.
Right.
Like I heard Spencer
How do you know
Rattler.
if someone's a fit? You don't even know what you're looking for.
Spencer Rattler talked about, oh, man, I love working with Troy. It's cool to get an insight as to what the Patriot offense is and what that potentially could be. If you go there, he's one of the quarterbacks, South Carolina, played at Oklahoma, transferred there. And he's having a good week, but he's telling you, I'm getting a good peek at what is that the offense? Troy's wearing Senior Bowl gear. I think his contract's up. Is he coming back? Is he in play if Nick Caley gets the gig? Is he not in play if somebody else gets it? These are all things I don't know, but like the more and more these days stack up and go past it, and you hear, okay, they're down to one. It's almost like, but it feels to me like default. It's sort of like Craig Breslow, like. You know what I mean?
Can I tell you why I would respect Nick Caley if he accepted the job?
Why?
Because it could be career suicide. His first shot at an offensive coordinator gig, and he accepts the job here. Bill O'Brien just basically quit, and that's a guy with plenty of experience.
Well, he lived it.
Coaching offense and calling plays.
He lived it, and he knows how bad it is.
Didn't want to be here.
That's what scares me.
And so if Nick Caley takes the gig, I would respect the hell out of the man for taking on that challenge and being willing to do it and not waiting for a better opportunity somewhere else this offseason or somewhere else next offseason. I know that he's technically been with McVay, but it's only been a year.
Yeah.
He's a Bill and Josh McDaniels guy. That's what Nick Caley is. If he's willing to come back here after they didn't give him the job 2 years ago, and he's willing to come back here when it is so wretched on offense, and it stinks to the high heavens, so much so that Bill O'Brien said, I quit. I can't be here anymore. I'm going back to college to be an OC because it's so bad.
Yeah.
How do you not respect him just for doing that? Now, on that other question, though, which Andrew Callahan was asked by Michael Hawley, that is, how do you feel about the hire? It's fine. I thought they summed it up appropriately. It's fine. I prefer Nick Caley over Josh McDaniels, but it feels like everything they're doing this offseason is underwhelming.
it's done completely the other way that things are done. And I say that because, like, and Bedard talked about this the other day, like, last time Mayo interviewed was 2 years ago because they protected him and said, you're going to be the next guy now that we find all this out.
Yeah.
So he didn't have to have all his ducks in line. Now, they may have known they wanted to get away from Bill, according to the current report from Germany. After Germany, like, the decision's been made, we're going to move on. But Gerard can't go out and interview staff members. Normally, when you go to a place and you become the guy, you take your guys with you. Zach Robinson goes to Atlanta because he's going with his guy. You know how you want to run things. So you have a lot of carryover from what's been established here. And it's almost just like it's a switch or a transition, and not a ripping off of the Band-Aid, and you're coming in and you're bringing in your guys. Like, what's the portfolio? What do you want to know in interviews? You know, and if some of these guys that come through get interviewed, there's other places they're interviewing too. So then they start looking at it as, well, this is beneficial for me to go here because I see the way that this is stacked and what they want to do. And it more aligns with what I want to do. A lot of guys seem to have passed on this. You know, there were some good names that came through here.
If you were a candidate,
if you're going in that direction, I'm saying, of the West Coast McVay type stuff.
Wouldn't you want assurances that they're going to take a quarterback at 3 overall? That you're going to come in with a guy?
Are they getting that information that they're unsure? And that would hesitate you to take the gig. And to what Beadle said, you could potentially have career suicide, coming here. Now, I think it's a good gig because it's an offense coordinator with a team where ownership is invested. They want to win. You've got good picks coming up. You're picking at the top of the draft. You got a lot of money to spend if you want to spend it, but are you going to spend it? All these balls are in the air. So anybody that accepts this has got to come in with the understanding, what if they do trade back? What if we don't jump on that quarterback there? What if these quarterbacks tank and you don't fall in love with them? What if we do take a receiver? Now we're going to get but all that has to change because if you're going to take a receiver, you've got to go get a veteran in free agency, which is before the draft. So I think it kind of screws you a little bit. The free agency is before the draft. Because if you want to draft that quarterback, and I think this is going to show their hand in free agency, if you start bringing in receivers, tight ends, tackles, that tells you they're going to take a quarterback. Unless they bring in a veteran at a high price. So, a lot of decisions, and time is running out.
I'm with Bertrand. Like, this hire to me is okay, but I'd rather go with McDaniels over this guy.
Oh, my God.
I'd go with McDaniels. Look, he's got more experience. He's worked with a young quarterback, a rookie quarterback before in Mac Jones. And let's say you hit on your young quarterback. Let's say you hit on the number 3 overall pick, turns out to be a stud. What's going to happen? Nick Caley's going to get head coaching. He's going to get head coaching offers. Josh McDaniels is not going anywhere. So if I had more stability with that offensive coordinator, with Josh McDaniels, knowing that he's going to be with my young quarterback for years to come, I'd take him. This guy spent 1 year with McVay. Like you said, it's going to be Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels, that type of stuff again. I'd go with McDaniels.
Say what you want to. Like, okay, yeah, he was a head guy at 2 other places. But at least it didn't work out, but at least he ran the room.
Yeah.
He had to make decisions as a head guy. Then he came back as coordinator. Then you make decisions as coordinator. You know what structure you want every day.
If you wanted to bring back Josh McDaniels, the role for him was head coach, not coordinator under a first-time head coach. The power structure, the dynamic, it doesn't work.
Even if
it won't work.
He's failed twice. Like I think head coaching for him is off the table moving forward.
I know it is. I'm just saying that if you're New England and you wanted to bring him back, you don't bring that guy in under a first-time head coach. You don't do it because he has been a head coach twice, and when he was the OC here under Bill, he had full autonomy. He was able to do whatever it is he wanted to do with the offense with a little bit of input from Bill, but Bill let Josh run the thing.
For sure.
And if he comes in, he's going to listen to Gerard Mayo. If he has direction for the offense, he's going to say, Gerard, all due respect, bud, but you have no idea what you're talking about. That is going to lead to more issues and dysfunction with a team that's apparently riddled with it at the moment.
Yeah, and I'm like, what's your structure going to be on game day? Are you going to have analytics involved? Look at Dan Campbell and what he had to go through in an NFC title game. You play it one way the whole year. Then you get in bigger situations, you panic. Is somebody else making a call? We're going to kick the field goal, or are we going for it? I hope Gerard makes that call. It should be his call. He's the head coach. He's the one that should fill the game. He's the former player. He's the former 7-time team captain. He's the guy that has called your defense for in conjunction with Steve for the last, 3 years? If he's built for this, it should be his call. Don't have too many cooks in the kitchen. Just be careful.
617-779-0985. Let's get to some of your calls. Continue to talk about the OC search, which really, even with a finalist, doesn't seem close to being resolved. We'll talk about it, and we've got other things to get into as it relates to the Patriots and your calls and reaction throughout the day, so don't go anywhere.
Today, Americans of every age are in need of
Scott Zolak, Mark Bertrand,
essential part of community life.
Sports Zone.
Have you been able to talk with the Patriots at all through this draft process?
Yep, spoken with them a few times, along with other teams. But, all the teams are out here, and it's cool to be able to talk to them.
Spencer Rattler at the Senior Bowl being interviewed. When he gets asked about had he talked to the Patriots, he's like, yeah, I talked to the Patriots and a bunch of other teams. You know what I wonder? I wonder what the Patriots' reputation is in the NFL with not only the coaches that they're trying to interview, I'm wondering what those OC candidates are coming away from their interviews with, the impression that they're left with. I'm curious to know who is in the interview room, who's talking to these guys, what impression they're leaving. And I also wonder what potential free agents and players in the league, because players talk. What are potential free agents and players saying about the Patriots? What are draft prospects thinking about what's being said about the Patriots or what their interviews and encounters with the team are? That Spencer Rattler clip, man, he couldn't gloss over that fast enough. Like, yeah, I talked to the Patriots and a bunch of other teams. Yeah, I talked to a lot of teams.
That's when you do your interviews. You interview every player pretty much. They're interviewing a kid. I guess the kid's having a meeting with the kid from Tennessee, Milton, right?
Milton, yeah.
Joe Milton. He's having a meeting with New England today. So does that mean they're in on like, oh, God, maybe they'll take a receiver at 3 and pick him up in bottom of the first, second. This kid's throwing the hell out of the ball, I guess, McKone. Having a day.
Monster arm.
Having a week down there, yeah.
When they talk to offensive players, who is the coach that's asking, who's the assistant on the staff that's there to ask this guy? Is it Troy Brown? I mean, I know Troy Brown's there. Is that who it is?
I'm sure it's scouts. I'm sure it's scouts and personnel guys, whether it's Matt Groh. Matt Groh's down there. Is he conducting these? I don't think he's conducting every single one. I don't think you could cover them all.
Well, to Bertrand's point, though, how does this interview go? When the player says, hey, so what are you guys like looking at? What's your system look like? Still trying to figure that. We're still workshopping.
No, the player doesn't ask questions. I mean, you're asking questions about the player. You're like, what'd you run at Oklahoma? What protections did you run? What'd you do at South Carolina? What was different? Which one did you like? Do you like running no huddle? Like, I don't know. It's do you like the spread? Do you like being in gun? Do you like being under center? Yeah, we watch your film. You're not under center a lot. Have you been working on that? You see Caleb Williams taking a lot of snaps under center in his workouts right now because he has to show teams he can do that. Well, they didn't do much of it at SC, so I don't think the player gets much feedback from the team. So I wouldn't worry about that aspect of it yet. But to the bigger part of it, like Beto said, who's doing the interviews? I don't know. Normally it's like a couple coaches down there,
Who's interviewing the coaches? Who's talking to Nick Caley now that he's a finalist? Who's doing that interview? Is it just Gerard Mayo? Is it Gerard Mayo and Matt Groh? Is it Gerard Mayo and Elliott Wolf?
Well, it's not Matt Groh because Groh's down to Senior Bowl. So Caley's
Zoom. Zoom.
But I'm talking about the in-person one. Like you fly the guy in, you're meeting in person. So you're sitting in a room with Gerard. Who's with Gerard? I don't think it's Jonathan Kraft. Jonathan Kraft's not doing the football part of it.
No, it's his.
But it's Robin Glazier in the
liaison, his babysitter. That
I don't know.
They stuck on Gerard Mayo.
No, but it's not Jonathan.
Self-described fake lawyer.
But is Gerard doing it himself?
Contracts, legal things.
It might be Gerard and Elliott. I don't know.
Paperwork. What'd you say, T-Bone?
Saul Goodwoman.
Saul Goodwoman. In there, making it happen. I have all these questions. I would not count, by the way, Nick Caley as a lock. He might be a finalist. I don't think it's necessarily him. He might turn them down. If I were him, if I were in his shoes, or I was going to give him advice, I would say run for the hills, dude. Stay exactly where you are and stay with the Rams for another year and get another year experience with McVay and that team because you're going to have a better job there and better prospects for the future if you stay there.
And if he feels
you come back here, I'm telling you, it could be career suicide. You may never get another sniff for an OC job.
And if he feels that way, and if he's talked to people that have confided in him and he's taken advice from, it would make sense that you would ask for more to have some stability, right?
Yeah, you got to offset the fact that I'm taking the risk to come look at your dumpster fire here.
Yeah.
Okay? There's no hose big enough to put this thing out, so you're going to have to compensate me monetarily while you're still paying Bill Belichick $20+ million.
You're coming
the
in
budget
with
get impacted?
Fresh canvas, baby. Pop Douglas is back with Ramondre Stevenson.
To the moon.
Here we go.
To the moon.
Yeah. There's your canvas painted.
617-779-0985. Jake, what do you got today? Another day closer to Super Bowl 58.
Super Bowl 58. You guys spent the first segment talking about Bally's and RSN, so I want to call it Sports Audible on this call because I, too, read Sports Business Journal and Front Office Sports. Last week marked the 40th anniversary of Apple's famous 1984 Super Bowl spot that launched the Macintosh, and it got me thinking, do you guys remember the last really good Super Bowl ad? Was it like the NFL's 100th anniversary spot? Because we're a long way from the Budweiser Frogs, Mean Joe Green, Where's the Beef?
The anniversary spot is with all the players, right? With the cake and diving on the ball, the loose ball, Franco catching it, right?
Correct. That was the NFL spot.
Yep.
So, we've come a long way since Bird was playing horse with Jordan at McDonald's, and the last of those I mentioned was 30 years ago. The ads suck now, guys. They suck now. And I say that because this year...
The Larry David one was
Good attention to the not the last company.
Last two big ones.
That's a good ad. The Larry David one
didn't age well.
Last two big ones I remember is the Bud Light Frog one,
early 90s.
Yep, and the Doritos and cheese.
See, but Doritos did a really good thing at Super Bowl. It's a Super Bowl in New York where they took a whole bunch of people, they put them in the end zone, they dressed them as a giant chip. That's what I'm saying. You now have, because of the Swift effect, two makeup companies, Elf and L'Oreal's makeup lines, who paid $7 million for a Super Bowl spot because if they think Taylor's there, they should be there. The problem is that is the Matt Patricia trying to be an offensive coordinator of all ad buys because their audience is elsewhere. Their audience is on TikTok of all things. So some marketing genius who thinks he's Jonathan Kraft, Robin Glazer right now, is saying, let's throw $7 million and see if these 60-year-old old folks care about the Sephora trends that are going on right now. If you want to throw money down the drain from the marketing standpoint, I know they're your favorite people to make fun of next week. Just go talk to, the guys who signed Janu Smith and Juju Smith-Schuster, because that's stupid money too. Maybe the Red Sox should be running marketing departments instead of a baseball team.
Okay, maybe.
Well, he's fired up, huh?
Good Super Bowl commercials. Yeah, they are few and far between these days.
Yeah, they're kind of bad.
What was the one? Wasn't there one with a horse kicking a field goal? How many years ago
Budweiser.
was that? Yeah, what year was the Clydesdale kick the field goal?
Yep.
Is that 20 years ago now and I don't even realize it?
Isn't Gronk doing the halftime thing again, too, the kick?
Oh, the free kick? Yeah. Yep.
Bet he makes it this year.
Yeah, he is doing the FanDuel thing. When was that? Oh, my God, 1996?
The Pats' first Super Bowl?
Oh, my God, 96? No, it's the year before. Because the Super Bowl was actually 97 for the Pats, right?
Yeah.
This is the 95 season. Super Bowl 30 was the Clydesdale field goal.
Wow.
Oh, my God. Oh, I didn't realize it was that long ago. That's crazy. That was a good one, though. Kickers. Stupid kickers. 617-779-0985. Let's get back to your calls coming up right after this. Also, there are already rumors of trades in the draft, teams wanting to trade up.
Love it.
What it would take the Patriots if they wanted to trade up. All that on the way.
We're back with more Zolak and Bertrand on the Sports Hub.
Well, we're moving on now. We're moving on up to the east side. To a deluxe apartment in the sky. We're moving on up to the east side.
Now I'm just getting random all-time Super Bowl commercials sent my way. Bob said, how about the Cindy Crawford Pepsi commercial? Yeah, good one, but that was, 30 years ago?
Yeah.
What's up? Yo, who's that? Yo, you're picking the phone. Hello? What's that?
I love that one.
Pepsi, Cindy Crawford, 1992.
Oh, my God. This Pepsi machine. With
32 years ago.
The Was Ah commercial, 2000.
Oh, what? Man.
24 years ago.
Wow. That was the just one look, right? Looks so, the chicken seen that?
Cindy Crawford at the Pepsi machine in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm watching it again. It is very suggestive, that commercial. 617-779-0985 is the phone number. Would you trade up if you're the Patriots, though? Would you consider doing it?
No. I think they sit in a great spot at 3. Especially if, you don't see the separation of the 3 quarterback. If you're going quarterback. Like, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't. You know me, I'd sit there and take Harrison. These kids down at the Senior Bowl, this Milton kid, he's throwing the hell out of the ball. Bo Nix looks terrible, supposedly. Penix looks okay at times. But there's always that one guy that kind of pops, at this week. And watch him start climbing up draft boards. Especially big, athletic, can throw the hell out of it. And then, your new offensive coordinator is going to have to adapt with a new player, with a new quarterback other than Tom Brady. And that's the big thing. Like we're going to look at Bill, like everybody brings up Bill's record, without Brady. And we know it's not good.
Well,
right?
Bill Barnwell has this about what it would be for the Patriots to move up. Jumping the Commanders should cost the Patriots much more, given that they'll be competing against the teams drafting behind them in terms of what they're willing to give up to move up. We haven't really seen a trade like this in recent years.
You're talking about moving up one spot.
No,
so the Commanders.
Move up to 1.
Oh, okay.
To trade up to 1 and leapfrog the Commanders. But he writes, remember, the Giants sent first, third, and fifth round picks in 2004 when they swapped Phillip Rivers for Eli Manning. Given that the Manning deal was for a player who wasn't willing to play for the Chargers and came in under the old CBA when rookie deals were more expensive, moving up from 3 should cost more now. The Bears would still be in a position to draft the non-quarterback of their choosing. Proposed trade for the number 1 pick would be pick number 3, pick number 34, first rounder in 2025, next year's draft, and a third-round pick. So it's really an extra 1, a 1, a 2, and a 3, in addition to swapping picks in the first round.
They should be open to it.
They should be. I'm with you.
If you have a guy, I want them to evaluate the quarterback position. And if you believe in a guy and you don't think he's going to be there and he's going to go off the board, you should go attack for that player. You should not sit back and say, you know what, we love that guy, but Jaden Daniels, he might work out too, so maybe we're going to take him at 3. No, if you have a guy that you think is going to be the face of your franchise, go get him.
If they meet with Caleb Williams and they absolutely love him and they love everything about his game, and they think he will change their franchise for the next 15 years, you didn't want to give up an extra 1 to do it? It's the piece. You're never out of it if you have the quarterback.
Yeah.
You're never out of it. Why would you not consider doing that?
Yeah.
And they should consider doing it. They should be open to it. Again, only if they really believe that whoever's going to be taken first is the guy they need and is number 1 for a reason. And I think with that player, because there are some questions about him, you might find the Bears are a willing trade partner for anybody who wants to move up. But the Patriots right now are armed with a good first-round pick, great first-round pick at number 3 and a great second-round pick at 34. So they could do it. They could pull it off if they wanted to. They shouldn't rule it out.
Don't you want to just stay there, though, if you have the great pick at 3 and the great pick at 34?
No, not if you think that the quarterback piece is the guy who's going 1. No, you should do it.
That'd be great if you had everything sort of ready to go offensively except the quarterback, and it's just implement that one piece. Then you trade up and get him.
I don't think you do. Look at the Texans. The Texans get C.J. Stroud, they get their franchise quarterback, and now that franchise looks different.
Do you have any idea how long the restocking is going to take for the team? It could take 3-4 years.
It could take 4 or 5 years if you keep getting rid of first-round picks.
It could take 25, and you could be the Dolphins after Dan Marino if you don't get the quarterback piece. So it could be that, too.
Yeah, you could have Jay Fiedler.
You want to do that list of quarterbacks? You want to see how that went for that franchise? I don't want to be those Dolphins.
Ray Lucas.
I don't want to be that team. And so if you really have belief in the guy who's at one, you go get him. Do it.
I don't want to be last year's team.
Well, I think you should be prepared to be last year's team again. I think that's the unfortunate truth of where they are.
No, I don't accept.
Well, that's just because you don't want to admit the reality of it. I'm sorry that you don't want to do that. Over here in reality, we know the team is not good and will not have a good record next year. They will continue to not be good for many, many, many years without that quarterback piece. That could go on for decades. By the way, the Broncos keep getting rumored as a team that wants to move up in this draft.
How do they have any draft capital left, by the way?
They have pick number 12, and they want to maybe go for Drake May.
And a player. What if you give up the 12th pick and say, what do they have? Asante? No, they don't have Asante Samuel, right? They have, what's his name? Patrick Surtain Jr. Patrick Surtain Jr. Like premier number one corner.
He might get moved in a deal.
Yeah. If you want that guy, go get him.
2 years to team control left.
McKone? Yeah. If you got him, go get him. Hey, Mike Reese is going to join us at 11:20. Is that okay?
That's fine by me.
Just
What's
text him with
going
Mike.
on?
I don't know. I'm trying to get, just what he's thinking, what he's hearing. I mean, we've had Bert Breer in. We've heard from Bedard on Felger and Maz. Phil Perry's been with us, covers the beat. We haven't talked to Mike in a while.
So
I reached out to him.
Is Mike local right now?
He is local. He's not
doing
doing
that
Senior
Bowl
Bowl
thing.
He's not heading to the. He's not heading to the Super Bowl, but just stuff too, like with the Schefter stuff that's going on, the ESPN stuff with Bill's name still being floated out there with Kansas City. Maybe see what Mike's hearing on that.
All right.
See what he's hearing locally.
Okay.
So
always love talking to Mike.
Love talking to Mike.
Zach in the car. What's up?
Hey guys. So my headline is sexiest start possible. But first, real quick, 2 weeks ago, had a very, very serious health scare. And though things are fine now, I'm always nervous calling in. But during the scare, I resolved I'm going to live more. And calling into a radio sports show is living. So no matter how bad my takes are, I'm planning to call in more.
Attaboy.
So here's my
Zach, way to do it. You're always welcome here.
So here's what you're going to love this. The OC, if they brought that Chicago guy in, bring him back, OC him, trade for Fields. You can get him for a song. Harrison at 3, and then with the 34, package it with something else. Get best available tackle. You got your quarterback. You got to pay him. But Mayo had to defend against Fields last year or the year before, and Fields lit them up. So Mayo knows how good he is.
I was there. Called that game.
You got your quarterback. You got your stud wide receiver. You go get best available tackle. Boom, fixed.
It's not fixed. I think it's like a stopgap, but it is an option. And I'm not dead set against Justin Fields. I'm not one of the ones that have killed this guy.
Minimum wage for a starting quarterback for him, I get it, will be like $35 million.
Problem. 1 year control, and then you got to decide what's the money going to be.
Yeah. That's the tough
if
part.
he's your guy.
Yep. Zach, thanks for the call.
It goes up to 45.
Keep calling, bud. Keep living. Yeah, that's the problem with that. If the year goes well, you're ready to dump a massive contract on him. You only have 1 year to look at him.
That's the issue.
And it could be a mediocre year.
If he has a really good year or a decent year, you got to pay him.
Stopgap plan.
Yeah. But it's an option if you're going to go the other route in the draft.
That's better than what they have now. It's definitely an improvement.
Right.
Give you that. It makes them better in 2024 than they were in 23. Phil Perry actually likes that idea quite a bit. Likes the idea of trading for Fields. We can get to that coming up. And as Zoe just told you, we'll be talking to Mike Reese at 11:20. McKone has headlines right now, and we're right back.